Buffalo Blue Way followers. We're live for the Blue View here at Broderick Park on our west side of Buffalo. I'm Chris Morowski. I'm our Director of Community Engagement for Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper, and I'm also part of the Friends of Broderick Park. And I'm here with Mr. George Johnson, who is the President of Buffalo United Front and also the President of Friends of Broderick Park. So we're going to talk a little bit about this great jewel of a park that we all love here in Buffalo. And we'll just get started. You just saw the lift bridge go up. So we are on an island here on Unity Island. And we have been doing our blue views on the Buffalo River mostly. So this is the first one that's non-Buffalo River, but the Blue Way consists of a water trail that's along the Buffalo River with different access sites for fishing, kayaking, biking, walking, accessing the water. And the Blue Way is envisioned to expand throughout the watershed and down the Black Rock Canal here to encompass other sites and any site that you can access water on. And this is a very, very accessible site here in the city. Like I said, we're on Unity Island, so some people, when you say Broderick Park, they'll say, "What are you talking about?" And you say the Foot of Ferry, they're like, "Oh yeah, the Foot of Ferry." So it's known, the vernacular in Buffalo is known as the Foot of Ferry, and that's what it's mostly known right now. You can get here by taking Ferry Street right to the end, and you can also get here another way from Unity Island. If you cross you drive across the railroad bridge, or bike, or walk across the railroad bridge, you can access it from the Greenway Trail, which runs in front of the sewer authority between Unity Island Park and Broderick Park. And the park, it received a large restoration project in about 2010. The planning for the project started, but the project was implemented in 2013, and it consisted of a $1.5 million rehab of the park. Included installation of the amphitheater, which we'll see, the snack bar and the bathrooms, new landscaping, gardens, new parking arrangements, permeable pavement for the parking lots, parking areas, so the water drains through. It doesn't run off into the river, so that helps with our stormwater, the green infrastructure. We always love that. And the most important thing about Broderick Park, we are a national Network to Freedom, Underground Railroad Network to Freedom site that's through the National Park Service, and that was designated in 2010. You'll see the historic signs behind us. George, you want to talk a little bit about just the importance of our destination here being the terminus of the Underground?
Well, I think that the park was pretty much kind of finished in 2017 when they did the restoration in terms of doing it, and then also they redid the bridge. So they've been doing a lot of work in the park over the years from the time that they started with this whole restoration, and we try to continue to make sure that people know and understand the importance of it, and know the significance of making this the destination in the city of Buffalo, because it's a very, very sacred ground, because not only is it named Broderick Park, it is the Underground Road. This is the destination of a lot of the slaves and whatnot. They went across the river to Canada to become free. So it has a lot of sacredness to it, because a lot of people didn't make it across that river. And we want to keep the educational component of the park in itself to let people know what this park is really about. On the side of the concession stand, there is a little museum that shows you different things pertaining to the area of the Underground Railroad as you travel and when you was coming up to the north to see to get to the park for the Underground. There's a lot of caves that was all along the Niagara area, and there's still some in different places where a lot of the slaves would go and hide to escape to come over to the park. So, we try to, as friends of Broderick, we try to make sure that we make the park friendly. We have a group of a number of different organizations that's involved into making sure that we keep the beauty of the park and help clean the park, working in conjunction with the city as we partner with them to just help with the maintenance and things of this nature to make it look good. We want to make sure that people know and understand. A lot of people, well, the Foot of Ferry is just a fisherman's park. That's not so. There's a lot of fishermen that fishes. This is one of the prime fishing places in the city. Matter of fact, I think this is the only park
it's the
that
number
you can
one
fish.
spot for shoreline fishing.
You can fish. This is the only place you can fish at night if you have a fishing license. It's a prime spot for walleye, and people come from all over to come up here to fish, shoreline fish for walleye. And it's just prime area where they come. But aside from that, you have a melting pot of so many different people, nationalities, in terms of that utilizing. I mean, any nationality that you may think of is in the park, and it's constantly. And from the people that just walkers, bikers, scooters, you name it, people just enjoy the park, and we try to make sure that we do our part as stewards of the park. Got to help keep it maintained. I love the partnership with the waterkeepers because you guys really have some of the same type interests in terms of the water and things of this nature. And the partnership has been amazing, especially with Chris. I mean, Chris just came on board. He's the community engagement. So sometimes I have to take him to the hood every now and then. He hangs out with me, and we hang out with each other. We have a bunch of groups, but we have a real good relationship in terms of, letting people see the collaboration of people working together. Just to see that the city should be reflective of the people. And as long as it's reflective of the people, there's a number of different things we can do together collectively. And that's how we go about doing a lot of things, because this is not about one person or one group. It's a collaboration of all of us working together to make it happen. A lot of this stuff that you see, it couldn't be done without that collaboration. And I really enjoy the fact that I connected with Chris, really, because he keeps me in line. I keep me moving and stuff like that. And, when you work it as community engagement, you really got to get engaged into the community. Chris is that guy. I mean, he don't just sit around and he don't just sit around and talk. You see him doing with the shovels and all that other stuff. So we have a great working relationship, and that's with everybody. So we're trying to do the best we can to make sure we keep things on the map.
All right, so let's thank you, George, so much. I really appreciate that, and we appreciate everything that George does, because not only is he doing Friends of Broderick Park, the Buffalo United Front is an umbrella organization for a number of different organizations that work in the community, work on Buffalo's east side, and throughout the city. Do a lot for youth, engaging youth, feeding people. Like, we're dropping off food during the COVID pandemic and giving people masks and just trying to help out, any way you could. So, so we're really glad of the partnership.
And we have a East Side Bike Club that meets at Martin Luther King Park and comes to this park. So the connection is we connect the community over here and connect the people over here, and we're back and forth. And the connections is necessary in terms of just the people being involved, because the people needs to speak for what it is that we need to have, and that's very important.
Let's point out some of the features of the park. So you get to the park, come across the bridge on the ferry. We have the plaza here. You can park either way. You can turn left or right. There's parking in either direction. A lot of the fishermen park that way because most of the fishing's done at this end. We have the time capsule that was installed when they dedicated the Network to Freedom site underneath the rock there.
Yes.
So it's a time capsule that reflected the time.
That was dedicated in 2017.
2017.
And there was a number of different things that was put in there.
We have our, Canadian and American flags. That's Canada right there. Where the freedom seekers were trying to cross, to get to freedom. And like George said, a lot crossed on boats. Like we have historical accounts from the Black Rock Ferry. So it's called Ferry Street because it ended at the water where the ferry went across. So the Black Rock Ferry was a way that folks were able to get across through a network that was very secretive. That's why a lot of the accounts are not, it's very hard to keep track of the account because it was a secret network. We have, and it's reflected in the museum, and a lot of the storytellers that are part of our groups know a lot of the details of that, a lot of the historians. So we'll see the museum, the small museum, that maybe one day could be a bigger museum.
Well, we have a focus of having a big museum. Right now, we're going to use this because this is the seed towards what it is that we ultimately want to see. So as part of some of the things that we did is, if you notice the planners, we wanted to make a statement in the park. So the Friends of Broderick Park decided that, okay, well, let's do something different. And that's why we was able to get these planners. And McKinley High School was very significant in terms of making sure that the planners was done, helping us maintain them, things of this nature. So we wanted to make a statement when you come into the park. You get that bam in the sense of, wow, it's so beautiful. As we move forward, there's still a number of different things that we will continue to do as we go down. They just start opening up things. So we're only allowed to do certain things for now, but as we move forward next year, sometimes you come down here to the park, you can't find a parking space. That's how busy it is. But as we walk up, we would walk. These are some of the. This is your Freedom Walk. You have some of the names of different slaves and different things coming through the park, and it walks all the way around. We made sure that everything was handicap accessible, and they have different markings all through the different areas of the park.
So the Freedom Walk starts at the other end, on the other side of the picnic gazebo, and then it has milestones all the way starting at 1619 to the Emancipation Proclamation. So milestones. Some of them are stories of specific freedom seekers that came through here and passed through to Canada. But it's all the dates are accurate, and it was all done, through the community engagement process when they did the Restoration Master Plan.
Then as they did the restoration with the new park, they put this amphitheater here because we wanted to make sure that we had a place to entertain, pretty much. Because as we said, it's more than a fishing park. So we have a number of different things that's scheduled to give people entertainment, different things that we want to do in the park. This amphitheater, I'm surprised. Well, it's clean today. I think that was for Chris fussing a lot, but the amphitheater is very beautiful. Which, if you sit there, you can just feel the motion of the river. We made sure that on the other side of there, I think we'll probably come around. You can see Miss Lillian Batchelor's garden, which she was very inspirational in terms of making sure that people know and understand that this is not just a fishing park. So she was the one that did a lot with the reenactments years ago. And after 9/11, they couldn't do the reenactments anymore because of security purposes to Canada. They used to have reenactments right out here in the water, and they had to stop that and do some other different things. Then when they redid the park. Also, they redid the concession. They have the concession stand, which is that's ran by Rich Roddins, and you have the restrooms, which is ladies and men's restrooms.
We're
This is
open
just-
11 to 7 every day.
This is just part of the project in terms of what we did is we began to put these on all of the barrels because we wanted to have the people in the park participate in helping keeping the park clean. So we came up with this idea. Actually, I came up with this idea throughout the city, and then I put it in conjunction with Friends of Broderick Park. But we have it in the city. It's called Living with Less Litter, and it's sponsored by Buffalo United Front. Just here in the park, we sponsor it by Broderick Park, and then you can see we're working with the city to make sure that they put the signage up. If you can see the sign, we want to try to make sure that people take part ownership of the park in terms of making sure we help keep it clean. The more hands we have trying to help, the better it is, because you can't rely on just one group or especially the city to do it all. So that's why we take it upon ourselves to try to do the best we can to come and help. We usually come on Saturdays, and we spend time 2-3 hours, Chris, and we come and pick up the trash, help them maintain different things around. But
museum.
yeah, if we walk this way, we go to the museum. Oh, yeah, I don't know. And they made sure that they had like a little picnic area. These wasn't here before they did it. But they have the picnic area where people can come and picnic, and they can come and barbecue and things of this nature. You can see over there, people come and they just have a great time. I guess they get ready to have them a little DJ thing.
It's cool.
So the park is being used by a lot of people. And this is the little museum. Now they don't know if Harriet Tubman actually came through here, but they do have information of a number of different people pertaining to some of the information about the Underground Railroad. This is the Michigan Avenue Baptist Church on Michigan, in 511 Michigan. I don't know if you guys ever been down there, but that's still standing. And then they have a number of other different things. And we have partnered with the Michigan Avenue Corridor, which they are very inspirational in the Underground Railroad, different things pertaining to the Underground Railroad itself. Matter of fact, we partnered with them. Meeting with them tomorrow, as a matter of fact. But this gives you some information. It's not all of it, but it gives you some of the information that happened, and it shows you some of the destination of the Underground Railroad, where it's coming from. Some of the people that was involved in a lot of different things. There's a lot of Canadians involved into this park, bringing people to freedom. And then we have signage that's all around. Kind of gives you information about different things pertaining to the park. And then if you look on this side, it's Buffalo United Front.
Oh, you got to plug the family fishing.
That's our family fishing, which we do. Family fishing is every June, the last weekend in June, which is the free fishing day for that you don't need a license. And we choose that day to bring the kids to the park and teach them how to fish. So we have the canal, this whole side is designated for the kids on those 2 days. So they just opening up things. They did allow us to have a small version of what we usually have. This is our 13th year, June the 26th and 27th. We're gonna have a small version. We usually have hundreds and hundreds of kids from all over the state. Doesn't matter what neighborhood they come from. They come down, they get a free fishing ride, they get a free lunch, they have a lot of fun, they get a chance to dance, they get a chance to do a lot of things. So we just try to keep things moving. This is one of the pictures of some of the kids and whatnot that's down in the park, that comes down in the park for our fishing day. And then this was the plan in 2012 when they planned the whole thing in the park. And this is how the park is supposed to look. But this is how the park looks after they did that.
Want to go walk down to the Lillian Bachelor Garden?
Yeah, we're going to
everybody that. So the family fishing day is it's gonna be
June the 26th. And
yeah,
27th.
next Saturday, not this coming, but next Saturday and Sunday, both days, starting at 10.
This is your park, blah, blah, blah. And we got some other signage that we're putting down. Just a matter of time for them to be able to bring it in. And all of this landscaping is part of McKinley High School, also this side and that side. We planted all of that stuff there. So we did a lot of pruning and cutting down stuff and maintaining things, making it look good. This thing right here was so high at one point, you couldn't even see the water.
Wow.
Yeah, so we worked with the city and got them to understand how things needed to be. And they've been helping, making sure that we have some of the things done.
Yeah, so our dogwoods, they were really overgrown. We had the city crew did a restoration cut, like pruned them down to nothing, and then we cleaned it up, and now they're growing in nice shape so we can shape them. And we got to stay up on the weeding, of course. That's the one thing.
He was actually supposed to take down the walkway. He took the shortcut. Then he blew the horn because we in his way. Now this is the corner where we get most of the bait.
It's also
The
this is the historic ferry landing too, in this corner.
This is the landing for where they get a lot of the bait. The anglers come and they get their bait here to fish for the fish. They're gonna change it. I don't know exactly when, but they're gonna change it and make a curvature so that the bait can go down the water more to feed the fish. Now, if you see the orange fencing, is up for safety. It's a temporary thing that we pointed out to the city that we want them to take care of in terms of putting up more permanent fencing to make it safe for the people. So they have that there temporary, and as a matter of fact, they're supposed to start the
this
next couple of
summer.
weeks.
So he's talking about the bait, the emerald shiner, which is like a little small minnow. It's a really big species, important species in the Niagara River fishery, because a lot of other fish eat them, and a lot of the terns, common terns, which you see flying around in the gulls, eat them, and a lot of the ducks that come in the winter eat them. So they have a hard time fighting this current to get up into the lake when they migrate, so they can migrate to the lake and feed and breed up there. So because the wall's flat, where it used to be a living shoreline, there would be places for them to hide. But the wall's flat, so they have a hard time. So Buffalo State and UB, the Greenway, did a study, and the Army Corps of Engineers is actually doing a project where they're redoing the whole seawall, and they're putting in little places for the fish to hide and take refuge, and then they can get their way up into the lake. So that's coming up.
And that guy that just drove by,
that's the mayor.
He's the mayor of the park.
Yeah.
His name is Pedro.
Yep.
Don't nothing happen in the park without him knowing it. And when he knows it, he tells me. When there's a problem, he tells me. So you got him as the mayor, then you got a deputy mayor, then you got a commissioner, and it's a big old family. He's Hispanic. We have a couple of Native Americans, and we have some Asians, and we all there has been a number of anglers that has passed. We're going to put a memorial down here on the stone where the fishermen be at. So it's real kind of like community. Everybody's like this whole big kumbaya. You know, but we have a great time. You know, everybody looks out for each other. You know, we just try to enjoy the park as much as we possibly can. Our main thing is educating the people how important it is for the park, and that's one of the most important things: education, safety, and beautification. So we're gonna walk down here and show you Miss Lillian Bachelor's garden. We wanted to make sure that when they was redoing the restoration, that we had something in the park that that was dedicated to her and her family, because of her or them primarily keeping a lot of the things in awareness to the people, because it has a lot of history in the park. The lilacs is over, ain't it?
Yeah, we just missed the lilacs. We had a late bloom of the lilacs.
Oh my God, it was so nice and beautiful.
The lake is like a big air conditioner, you know, when it's still cool, which isn't great when you're here in the spring trying to garden and you're freezing, but when it's hot in the summer, this place is always nice and cool.
Yeah.
So the lilacs just bloomed actually right last week.
Yeah.
But we had the roses and we had the spirea.
And then this gives you some information about the Bachelors in terms of their role in as far as the park itself. And when it was dedicated, this was part of the dedication. So sometime at night or whenever, you come down here and you sit and meditate and you just have yourself a great time. Sometimes I come and sit down here 2-3 hours just to, especially when it's cold out. I mean, when it's warm, when it's hot out. This is the coolest place to be. You sit in this garden and you just meditate, and especially when the sunset. You see the sunset when it comes down on the water. It's amazing. It's very, very moving when you're sitting here and you're seeing a lot of different things and stuff.
One of the top sunset places. People sit, even in the dead of winter when the sun sets real early, people come after work, sit in their car and watch it. It is always real nice.
Sometimes I come down here and I sleep in my car or my truck because it's cooler by the river than it is when it's real hot, especially some of the real hot days. I just come down here and sit and get me a good nap, go to sleep. It's nice and peaceful. You know, everybody's down here is pretty nice and cool. You see a lot of the anglers as we walk down. You'll see a lot of our buddies, which they take pride in the park, and all of them starting to have big little pickers to pick up trash.
I want to tell you real quick about our public art project first before we move to this area. So to thank the Mayor Brown and the capital budget, the mayor's capital budget this year, they did put $400,000 of money for a public art project in Broderick Park, and that was part of the restoration master plan that we talked about. And they designated different spots for future public art, but it just wasn't funded at the time. So now there's funding. So we're working with the Buffalo Arts Commission. We did a big community engagement process to get input about what the public wants to see in art, including like what type of art, what subject matter, what kind of feel should the art have, where should it be. But we did a big survey that went on for a couple months, and then we did a public meeting back in January, and then they released a call for artists proposals, received those, and the commission is now reviewing all the proposals, and then they select the artists.
So now we're in the process of trying to make the selection of what it is that we want to see in the park. We want to make sure that in terms of the surveys, the town meeting, that we adhere to what it is that the people want to see. There's a number of different things. I think it started off with 18, 19 artists. I think it's narrowed down now to 6 hopefully in the next couple of weeks, next few weeks, we should be able to make some selections in terms of what is it that we want to see. So there's some of the anglers, and these are some of the anglers down in here. This parking area mostly is used for the anglers because they don't really fish up in that area because they never catch no fish over there. They mostly fish over here. So that's where you see most of the anglers at. Hey Uncle Willie, what's going on, y'all? What's happening?
Look.
Y'all standing out of trouble?
Yeah, oh yeah, you know what that is.
They're the troublemaker right there.
Oh yeah, it's right there, right? It goes there.
So you guys all set for Saturday? We're gonna have a good time down here Saturday at 4 o'clock. You know that, right? We're gonna celebrate Reggie.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure everybody's here. All right?
Oh yeah.
So you have a lot of the anglers, and they go all the way down, all the way past the almost to Unity Alley. You got a lot of the anglers that bid. Then you just have people just come in the park, just sit, relax, read their papers, eat their lunch, eat their dinner, and you can notice a lot of people around just sitting in their cars and just enjoying the park. And it's a good park to enjoy.
All right. Well, I think we got to wrap up. I think we're at the
Okay,
end of our
so-
time. So we will just say thanks for tuning in.
And thanks,
Blue View, and thanks to George.
Thank you guys for bringing the awareness to the people, because the people need to know exactly what's going on in different places. And we just love the park, and we just want to make sure that they're aware of this being a destination, one of the destinations. It's a beautiful place to be. So thank you guys, I appreciate it. And I know sometimes I get a little talky, but but I